Turnpike Sports is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com. Welcome to Turnpike Sports. I'm Dave Weishuttle, and as always, I'm joined by my producer and co-host, Doug Weishuttle. Doug, let the bettors rejoice. It's NCAA tournament time.
March is going to be such an incredible month, especially in terms of sports betting. It's going to be great.
Have there been studies to see if what's a bigger sports betting event, the NCAA tournament or the Super Bowl?
Well, I think that's going
to. I mean, it's got to be.
It's going to vary state by state depending on where they're at. I know, like states like West Virginia, which is heavy on college, they have no pro teams. You know, that might be a bigger state for the NCAA tournament than the Super Bowl.
And of course, here in New Jersey, we're still not allowed to.
We're screwed.
Yeah, we're still not allowed to bet on the teams that are located in our home state. But I wasn't really going to bet on Rutgers or Seton Hall or whoever.
Well, we're also not allowed to bet on any of the games being played in New Jersey, are we? Is that the...
Yeah, no. We're allowed to bet on the games that are being played in New Jersey, but not the actual teams or colleges and universities that have a location in New Jersey. So,
I'm always confused with that rule and regulation because it doesn't make any sense.
It confuses everyone. It's crazy. It's insane.
Because I know some states have a regulation where you can't bet on any college event in your state.
No. New Jersey is not like that.
New Jersey's trying to get rid of it, so I know there's a bill going through.
Well, and they should, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, it makes no sense. But we just had we're going to be talking about this in the book report. We just had a national handle record for January. I wonder how March is going to be with March Madness here, because we didn't have it last year.
Let me tell you something. We're not going to get into it right now, but the January handle numbers nationally were insane. Unbelievable.
Yeah, no, they're just going to keep going bigger and bigger and bigger, probably.
And I'm sure we're going to talk about that in the book report. Are we not?
Yes, we are.
Of course we are. We got a great show coming up for you. We have a By the Numbers segment coming up a little later, and we also have the Turnpike Sports book report where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. And for this week's interview, I have a very interesting interview. I have Grant Johnson, who's the CEO and president of eSports Entertainment Group. He's actually... and the eSports Entertainment Group are actually creating a sports book in New Jersey devoted to eSports. And he's all licensed and everything. So very soon we're going to have a sports book devoted to eSports. It's very interesting.
He's also going to talk about all the deals they've made with some of the professional sports teams.
Yeah.
They've been very busy, especially in the last year.
And it's an incredible group, eSports Entertainment Group. You're going to hear a lot about them in the future. It's been a busy week in sports, so let's take a trip down the Turnpike. Today's trip down the Turnpike is brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
Exit 1.
Okay, we got another one of these sports betting surveys to talk about. It was done by the Whistlewise Quantitative Research Group.
I have that on my desk right here.
And this was a survey of a sample size of 470 people aged between 21 and 34 years old. So Gen Z and millennials.
Gen Z. That's what I've never heard that
or
term before.
Zoomers, however you want to call it.
Zoomers. Is this because of the Zoom calls that they've been doing through the pandemic? It's something different, huh?
Well, you have Generation
I've heard
X.
of millennials. Everyone talks about millennials.
Right.
I've never heard of Zoomers, or what did you just call this?
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Well,
All
you've heard of Gen X.
Yeah, I've heard of Gen X. Yeah.
And millennials. Boomers, Gen X, millennials, and now the younger kids are Gen Z.
Okay. All right. So what is this?
Between the ages of 21 to 34.
Okay. What is this gambling survey all about now?
Well, the survey really was almost it really was a marketing survey, and some of the results are kind of interesting, especially from a marketing perspective. And I figured, you know what, it's one of those things where every so often these surveys come out, and you got to talk about it a little bit because it also affects how the sports books and the iGaming companies and also the casinos market to people.
Well, I know casinos for a long time, they wanted millennials and they wanted their clientele to be a little younger. And that's the term they used, millennials. We need millennials in.
Well, they have the buffets for the older generation. You have the slots for the older generation, too. You got the bars and nightclubs for our age group and a little younger. You got to get the younger kids back in there. And, some of this stuff is really geared toward that, and also the online components, too.
Sure.
But kind of interesting. 13% of Gen Z, you know how we always talk about bad beats and everything else?
Sure.
Gen Z is 13% more likely than millennials to talk about a losing bet.
Okay. And Gen Z are the
younger kids.
20-year-olds.
The 20-year-olds,
okay. All right.
yeah. And 6 in 10 Gen Z and millennials together both view people who gamble on sports as exciting. I don't know how they came up with that terminology for it, but they feel that people who gamble are exciting.
They're exciting people?
Yes.
They're exciting people to be around, the people who gamble on
Yes.
sports. Boy, some of the people I see gamble on sports aren't too exciting. They're depressed and pulling their hair out most of the time, but not too exciting. So Gen Z, who are the kid, who we call them kids, but I guess
they are kids. They are
well,
kids.
20 and above, 21 and above. They see people who gamble on sports as exciting people to be around.
Both millennials and Gen Z.
Oh, both. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
70% of weekly sports bettors in this age group watch the full game now.
Okay.
Versus only 48% of non-sports bettors who watch the entire game. 51% of the Gen Z sports gamblers bet on sports they don't normally watch. I guess that's where table tennis comes into play, and darts. 78% of both groups, the Gen Z millennials, all agreed that being able to bet on a sports league makes them more likely to be a fan of the league. There's the customer engagement.
Well, everyone talks about fan engagement, and I guess they have empirical proof now. They actually have a survey that shows that younger bettors will more likely watch the entire game. They will be fans of the sports they're betting on. So, hey, I guess all the marketing people were right about sports betting.
Well, 71% of this group prefer sports gambling content that is casual and positive. And 74%, and this, I guess I would fall into this category if I was part of the survey. 74% think sports betting commercials that you see on TV are all the same.
Okay, well.
I mean, they are all the same. I mean, they basically say the same things over. And, it's what type of bets they're going to offer and what the offer is.
Well, I got to tell you, here in New Jersey, we're constantly bombarded by commercials. It's nonstop. It's just, I've become numb to it right now. The amount of online casinos, online sports books, online poker that we're seeing on TV right now, TV commercials are constantly playing in the background, and it's just part of the background right now. So maybe people in other states who have less content with regard to online casinos and online gambling, but it's just overwhelming in New Jersey.
One of the last categories of the questions, and this is probably why we're seeing a lot of these deals being done in the marketplace between sports books and athletes, because according to the survey, athletes are the most trusted source to deliver sports betting information.
Oh, interesting.
39% of the respondents said they were the most trusted source, more so than media brands, which was next with 28%. Social media influencers, celebrities were dead last.
Oh, okay.
So athletes are the most trusted source for delivering information on sports betting to this age group.
And this was a survey that was taken by millennials and the people that are younger than millennials, the Gen Z crowd,
the Zoomers,
okay,
as opposed to Boomers.
But hey, look, that's whether you're talking about media or you're talking about sports betting, that seems to be the target audience for everyone.
Well, and also if you notice, a lot of these results in this survey are actually reflected in the way these sports betting operators are doing business now.
Sure.
The way they're doing the deals, the way they're structuring things. First and foremost, you see them bring on an athlete, then you do a deal with a media company.
Yeah.
So it's almost following this pattern, which probably, I don't know if it was meant to do that way, but the survey is showing that pattern is influencing the society in general, if you want to look at it that way.
Exit 2.
We've got Atari back in the news.
Is this about their Atari Hotel? Is anything like that? Because
I'm glad you brought that up.
That was in the news a couple months ago. The Atari Hotel.
No, this is something brand new for them.
Okay.
Actually, it's not really brand new because I remember them talking about this a couple of months ago, if not a little longer than that. They are building a online casino.
I saw that. Yeah, no, that was very interesting.
They had hinted at this way before the Atari Hotels thing. It never really materialized way back when, but now it is. They have entered into a deal with Decentral Games to do a online casino based upon their original games like Pac-Man, Asteroids,
Great.
Pong.
Okay, wow.
The little difference in this casino, it's not cash like U.S. dollars. It's cryptocurrency. It's actually blockchain. And we're hearing a lot more blockchain in the news over and over again. Non-fungible tokens is what blockchain is created with. They are looking at doing an Atari-themed casino within, let me get this right because it's a virtual world they're going to be in. They're going to be based in Vegas City, a gaming district in Decentraland.
All right.
You have to create an avatar and enter a virtual world to go and play in this casino.
So how are they interweaving the Pac-Man, the Asteroids, the Pong, like you said?
They're creating a combination of luck and skill-based games to avoid the gambling moniker because they don't want to have to deal with regulations.
Yet they're calling it a casino? Are they calling it a casino?
They're calling it an online casino.
Are they people calling it a casino?
No, they're calling it an online casino.
Well, if they're trying to get away from the gambling moniker, they might not want to call it a casino.
They will have, it could fall under social casino.
Okay, all right.
They will have a skill-based area where people can play certain games to win money, actually to win Decentral Games' own token, $DG is its symbol. It's a cryptocurrency that they created for their online world there. And also you can play with a variety of different cryptocurrencies, including the new special Atari token that they're creating for this casino. Atari will have its own cryptocurrency.
So how is this going to work? If I wanted to play in the Atari casino, I would have to take some of my money and convert it to crypto and use that crypto.
You would have to buy
cryptocurrency
to play these games.
Okay, so I would buy, if I do that first step of buying crypto,
right,
and I'd use that cryptocurrency to play in the Atari casino.
Right, and in the world of cryptocurrency, there's certain advantages to having a casino in cryptocurrency only because not only will it be a extra level of privacy because these non-fungible tokens, these blockchain coins that you buy, have actually computer programs that protect you.
Really? That's pretty good.
Yes, that's what blockchain is. It's a chain of programming inside it.
Good.
Also, it will also provide where the casino can't rig some of these games. Now, I'm sure at some point they're going to figure out a way to get around not being able to rig the games. What do you mean
the casino can't rig some of these games?
It has to deal with the blockchain itself. There's another security level.
Okay, all right.
And
so when you do these cryptocurrency
when you do
casinos,
blockchain,
that's another level of security.
Yeah, blockchain are basically programming that provide value and worth in this area. The biggest factor for this is you don't have to report your winnings for taxes.
Ooh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's very good.
And Atari and Decentraland are expecting to see $150 million in bets in 2021 and another $400 million over the next 2 years.
Wow.
So they're anticipating a lot of money coming in from an online casino with the Atari brand on it that's blockchain.
Exit 3.
Okay, we just had a new casino open up in Philadelphia, and already they made their presence felt, but probably not in the way one would expect.
Okay.
They used their trademark attorneys to go after a local newsletter.
Who's they?
The Live Casino brand.
The Live Casino. Oh,
went
the Live
after
Casino
a
Philadelphia?
local newspaper, a local newspaper.
We just had someone on from Live Philadelphia.
We had Rob Norton from the he was the VP of gaming or the head of gaming for Cordish Companies, which owns the Live Casino brand.
Yeah, no, great guest. It looks like a great casino too.
Well, their attorneys went after what is called Chad's Ford Live. Chad's Ford is an area in the Philadelphia area.
Yeah.
It's a little region in Philadelphia. This woman in 2009 launched the website Chad's Ford Live, and it was a hyper-local newsletter, just local events, nothing really, outside of Chad's Ford. It's not a national thing. No one really knew about it, except, obviously, Live Casino, because they sent a cease and desist letter. The live part of her logo, Chad's Ford Live.
Oh, did it look like the Live Casino Philadelphia live version of it, or what?
The live in her logo was red, just like the Live Casino logo. They were in the same font or a similar font. They looked alike. The only difference really between her live and Cordish's live was there was no exclamation point.
Okay.
So
I got to tell you, I looked at it. It did look similar. I did see this in the news. So it did look very similar.
According to the Live Casino's trademark attorneys, there was too much of a likelihood of confusion. They asked her, in not so nice terms, according to the owner of Chad's Ford Live, to change the logo. They didn't say drop live. They just said change the logo, make it look different.
Okay.
And they sent a cease and desist letter, and it was one of those things where, if you think about it, it sounds like it's an open and shut case on the surface of this. There's the problem with, number one, it's a hyper-local newsletter. Hyper-local newsletter. It's not a federal matter.
Yeah.
Also, you can't look at the Live Casino and go, hey, these are the guys that put out the Chad's Ford Live newsletter.
Yeah, no one's...
And vice versa, you can't look at her newsletter and go, oh, she must be running that casino.
Yeah, no one's going to confuse the businesses.
No.
No one's going to think of this newsletter as going to... Well, I didn't think of it, but I don't know. Someone might have, but I didn't think of it like that.
They asked her to change it by February 6th, which was about maybe 5-6 days before the casino actually opened. And she actually went through with her attorneys, and they felt that it wasn't worth the cost to actually defend this. And that's where a lot of the trademark issues end, because one side usually doesn't have enough money to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, the most expensive thing about a trademark case is the lawyers. So
yep.
So,
Because you got to go through discovery, you got to go through depositions, you got to go through a whole bunch of normal legal procedures that you can run up a bill a lot in terms of defending a trademark with no guarantee that you'll win.
Yeah. No, I saw this in the news. I mean, I didn't think it was part of the casino. I did think the word live looked like the word live in the Live Casino Philadelphia. It did look like it.
Did.
And there was no ill intent. I mean,
no.
What was she started using it in 2009, right?
Right, and Cordish Gaming filed a trademark in 2007.
Okay.
So we're at roughly the same time. But again, this was a hyper-local medium versus a national brand of casinos. Probably wouldn't have really, I don't know if they really need to do that, but again, it's protecting your brand.
Sure,
and I understand that, and probably a smart move on their part, just in case something else happened down the road with somebody else.
I think it was a smart move on every part, the entire group. I mean, Live had to protect it. I mean, in the Chad's Ford Live publisher, she figured, you know what? It's not worth spending the legal fees and
she's spending a lot of money.
And by the way, what publicity Chad's Ford Live
Yeah.
is getting right now.
That's one of the benefits of this situation. The other downside is she's spending money to clean up the internet with a lot of her logos. She's having to do that, and she's actually changed her logo. If you go to their site now, Chad's Live Ford is now the name of the newsletter.
Okay.
It's basically a really bland-looking live logo.
Well, I'm sure she'll spruce it up.
She'll come up with something different, but right now it's she went the nice safe route to make it look totally different than what everybody over at Live Casino said it looked like.
Being from New Jersey, I've heard of Chad's Ford. I didn't know what it was. The only reason I've heard of Chad's Ford is because they have a winery, or there's a.
It's a winery.
What's it called?
Chad's Ford Winery.
Chad's Ford Winery,
yes.
and I've seen the wine. I've actually have one of their wines because it was a Philadelphia Philly logo label wine, or I'm sure they got the license from the Phillies.
They did,
but
because I remember they announced the NHL one.
They have the Phillies. Flyers. I have the Flyers wine bottle from Chad's Ford, but I've never actually been to Chad's Ford.
Me
but
neither.
I've gotten some wine from Chad's Ford.
Exit 4.
And last but not least for this weekend, we have I don't want to say a merger because they're saying they're not even anywhere close to discussing a merger, but we have discussions between the Canadian Football League and the XFL.
I saw this in the news, and I was very curious how these talks will progress because, look, the CFL and the XFL both have different rules. I mean, they have different size fields that they play on.
Yep.
So I'm very curious how
they actually have an extra down.
Yeah, the XFL has an extra down. But, I'm very curious to see how this progresses. So, I'm intrigued with the CFL and the XFL. It'd be interesting if they kept the bigger field but kept the 4 downs like the XFL has.
Well, they also would have to get rid of the Rouge, is one of the things I found out doing a little research on this.
What's a Rouge?
It's a 1-point play.
Oh, okay.
I looked it up. Here you go.
Okay, how do you do a 1-point play in this CFL?
Well, first of all, this is a unique rule that's one of the 10 differences between Canadian football and the National Football League, or American football, I should say.
Yeah.
Don't ask me. I didn't do the list of 10. I just noticed that there's 10 differences. The Rouge. A Rouge is awarded to the kicking team in 2 different circumstances. The first circumstance is if the kicking team misses a field goal or punts the ball into the end zone and the receiving team chooses not to run it out.
Oh, okay.
Which is why you don't see too many touchbacks.
Interesting. Oh, boy. How about if the NFL adapted that?
That would be a great rule for them.
That would be very interesting.
The kicking team receives a Rouge, which is 1 point, and the receiving team gets possession on their own 35.
Oh, okay.
That's the one Rouge. The other instance is if the kicking team misses a field goal or punts the ball out of the end zone. Don't ask me what the difference is, but those are the 2 instances. They miss a field goal, and I believe if the player
Wait. If a team misses a field goal, the other team gets a point?
No, the kicking team.
If they miss a field goal?
Yeah, in certain instances, it's kind of a weird rule. That second part of it is kind of weird because there's other things that have to happen. The first part I understand. The first part I totally understand. I like it. Yeah. Yeah,
not running it out of the end zone. Yeah, I like that one. Boy, can you imagine the the scores in NFL if the NFL had something like that?
Well, we'll see what happens here.
Was that called a Rouge?
The Rouge.
The Rouge.
We'll see what happens with the CFL. The CFL was on hold last year. They shut down the season. They're planning to start their 2021 season in May with preseason, and June is going to be the regular season. The XFL, on the other side, is not going to play in 2021, and their 2022 season is now on hold as well. So they're not even at the point of launching yet, and they're talking with the Canadian Football League. And the other thing I didn't know this, Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, one of the guys who bought the XFL, he played in the Canadian Football League. I didn't know he was a player. I know he was the NFL.
I know he played in University of Florida.
Yeah.
That was it.
Well,
that's not
not
University
Canadian
of Florida.
football team.
No, Miami. I misspoke.
University of Miami.
University of Miami. But boy, I made a
which is why
incredible blunder. People from Florida will be
which is why
us.
he was drafted by the Dolphins.
Yeah.
So, but I didn't know he was in the CFL for a short time after his NFL career.
I did not know that either. And today's Trip Down the Turnpike was brought to you by Drizzly, your online liquor store. Available in over 95 cities across North America, Drizzly offers a huge selection and competitive pricing with a side of personalized content. Now there's no need to leave the house. Get alcohol delivered in less than an hour by Drizzly. Head on over to drizzly.com and order today. And now get $5 off your first order of $20 or more when using our promo code DRINK19 at checkout. Shop beer, wine, and liquor with drizzly.com.
And as always, you can get in touch with Turnpike Sports by calling or texting us at 609-512-5910. That's 609-512-5910. At Turnpike Sports is the show's handle on Facebook and Twitter. At Turnpike Sports Radio is our handle on Instagram. And as always, our email address is info@turnpikesportsradio.com. And don't forget, you can listen to the show via Spotify, Amazon Music, iTunes, radio.com mobile app, as well as Stitcher and YouTube. You can also watch us on your smart TV, Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV. Head on over to turnpikesports.net. You'll be able to watch our video channel there.
Well, we got a great show coming up for you. We have a By the Number segment coming up a little later on. We also have the Turnpike Sports Book Report where we talk about what's going on in the sports books across the country. But coming up next, I'm talking with Grant Johnson, the CEO and president of eSports Entertainment Group. This group is doing absolutely amazing things. They're making deals with NFL teams, soccer teams that you certainly know of, and they're doing incredible things with esports because they're going to have a sports book in New Jersey devoted to esports. Unbelievable. So you're going to want to hear all about it. Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
No matter what kind of car you drive, we have an insurance policy that's right for you. Need to insure your family minivan? We've got you covered. Need insurance for that new sports car you finally got? We've got you covered. Have an old beater that just won't quit? We've got you covered. Or maybe you hit the lottery and want to insure all your new cars. We've got you covered. Call Auto Insurance for Less to find out how much you can save right now. All it takes is just one call. Answer a few questions, and before you know it, we've got you covered. Call 1-800-679-0366. That's 1-800-679-0366. Auto Insurance. You want it, you need it, and we've got it. Call Auto Insurance for Less to find out how much you can save today. Better coverage at a better price is just a phone call away. Call 1-800-679-0366. That's 1-800-679-0366.
Free stuff is awesome, but free stuff that will spice up your bedroom is even better. Just go to adamandeve.com and select almost any one item for 50% off, and then we'll load on the free stuff. Just enter this very exclusive code, BABE16 at checkout, and you'll get 10 tantalizing free gifts, including a sexy item for him, a special toy for her, and a third item you'll both enjoy. And 6 extra special bonus items that are sure to rev your engine, pique your curiosity, and even blow you away. Plus, free shipping! Always sent in discreet packaging. Go to adamandeve.com now. Get 50% off plus the 10 free gifts when you enter the exclusive offer code BABE16. That's BABE16, because without it, no free stuff. That's BABE16 at adamandeve.com.
Welcome back to Turnpike Sports. Dave Weishottle with you here. Esports have exploded over the last couple of years, and that's why I'm excited to talk with our next guest. He is the CEO and president of a company that is leading the way in the world of esports. Whether it be through its deals with sports teams or its plans to create a sports book dedicated to esports, Esports Entertainment Group is doing incredible things in the market. And we're going to hear all about it because on the line we have the president and CEO of Esports Entertainment Group, Grant Johnson. Grant, thanks for coming on.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you on because esports has exploded over the last couple of years, and I am shocked of the growth of it. And a lot of people are shocked of the growth of esports in this country. But for a lot of people, it's still a relatively new thing, and especially the business side of esports is a relatively new thing to a lot of people. How did you get involved in the business of esports?
Well, it was kind of an interesting path. My journey in this space really goes back to my time in the pioneering days of the online gambling industry back in the mid '90s. From '95 to '99, I was head of business development with one of the early B2B providers based out of Canada, and we put 23 sports books and casinos up online at the time. Until the Canadian government decided that now that was not the time to be involved in the gaming business, and the business migrated over to Europe. I left the industry, and then in 2014, a group of native tribes asked me to take on the task of helping them get an online regulatory environment set up where they could launch online casinos and sports books from their tribal sovereign territory. At that time, I really didn't know much about esports other than I was reading stories about it online, and I thought it was worth investigating. I attended my first championship game, which was a StarCraft event, and I was going to that event thinking that's probably teenagers, a very active, exciting event for them. But when I got there, all my perceptions were out the window. What I encountered was 5,000 very engaged 20-something-year-olds. Not only were they, wildly cheering the event, but they were betting on the event. So I went back to the natives. I said, "This is going to be huge. You need to get involved with this." They passed. I couldn't let it go, and I started the company, which after many twists and turns, and of course with the Supreme Court ruling in the spring of 2018 that online sportsbook was going to be legal in states where a regulatory framework was in place. From that moment to this moment, all the time and energy was dedicated to getting up onto the NASDAQ exchange. We were in fact the first iGaming company to list on the NASDAQ in April 14th last year. From that time to this time, the money that we raised has been invested in acquiring assets that make us what we are today and brings us to, it kind of culminates in the announcements that you've been seeing lately where we're partnering with the premium sports brands, the Patriots, the Eagles, the Ravens, the LA Kings, the Philly Union, LA Galaxy, etc. And many other discussions are underway. And we've learned that esports, professional video game play or competitive video game play for prizes, is not just something that teenagers are doing in their parents' basements. It's a global phenomena that has hardcore esports fans number in the 500 million fan base, and recreational esports, which includes all the Xbox and PlayStation's players, estimates go as high as 3.5 billion.
Wow.
So it's a huge. It's actually, the video game industry is bigger than the music and movie industry combined. So what we learned last year, what was unique about 2020, and unique not in a positive way, generally speaking, obviously, because COVID hit. And with COVID hitting, pro sports were shut down, as you recall, and all your listeners recall, for a period of months. And what we learned at that time was esports kind of went from, a little below the radar to right front and center. You saw esports events broadcast on network TV, which was something I thought we'd get to in about 2022, but COVID accelerated all that because fans wanted to watch something, and they started watching, 2K events on. So then we found out that the players, when they were going into their bubbles, when sports started up again, the one thing they brought besides was their game stations. So pro athletes, if you think of it, they're mainly in their 20s, and they're gamers.
Yeah.
And the fans, the teams learned, they're gamers too. They don't necessarily play League of Legends and Dota and Counter-Strike, but they do play FIFA, Madden, 2K, and Call of Duty, of course.
Yeah.
So it really was sort of a natural conclusion for the sports teams to get here that, they're in the entertainment business after all. And eSports, video games, is entertainment. So why wouldn't they offer them? And, of course, the answer is they do want to offer them. And that's where we come in. We have compiled the components that we're a natural partner for the pro teams, and we're a natural partner for casinos, and we run our own sites. And you mentioned the eSports sportsbook or eSports betting site, ViGG, will be launching in New Jersey this spring.
Wow, great.
It will be the first regulated eSports betting site in the United States, I believe.
I got to ask you, you mentioned all the components that go into esports. When we use the term esports, what are we referring to? And has that definition of esports changed over the years as the sport has grown?
The broad definition is competitive video game play. All right, so esports, just like sports, is a pretty broad spectrum.
Yeah.
I mean, when a lot of people talk about sports, they think of, NFL, NHL, NBA, Major League Soccer, baseball, etc. But pole vault, synchronized swimming, diving, those are all sports as well. And in esports, the same is true. I mean, there's the big titles in esports, which is League of Legends and Dota and Counter-Strike, and of course everybody knows Fortnite. Those are the big titles. However, there are hundreds of titles that get played, and the ones that are, that we're finding out with the sports teams, they're the virtual sports, the NBA 2K, Madden, NHL. So there really are two kind of independent camps. League of Legends and Dota players, they don't really follow or play NBA 2K or Madden, but you'd come to that conclusion yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas, the sports fans, and this is where this has been the big change that we've seen. The sports fans do watch and play the virtual sports because those are the same games that they like to watch the pro teams play. So if you've never seen an esport event, a competitive video game play event, and you turned on a Madden game, you could completely follow what was happening because it's a game you understand, you like, you follow, and maybe you play it on your Xbox or PlayStation. You probably would not watch or play StarCraft or Dota or League of Legends. Those games are very involved, very complicated, and people can't really get competent at those games unless they're prepared to play 4 or 5 hours a day, or more. Whereas you've got your less, the learning curve, let's say, to play FIFA, Madden, would be a little shorter because you're familiar with the game. Mm-hmm. So that's really how it's changed, and the audience has expanded, and there's been more acceptance of esports. And a big piece of what's driven that acceptance is people come to terms, it is entertainment, it is a big industry, people do like it, and what's helped for us recently is that the pros themselves play these games.
Yeah.
So with that knowledge, and some of these pros have millions of followers in their social media streams. So it's no longer, the perception of it's teenager in their parents' basement playing. These are pros who play dedicated tournaments. Some of these guys make millions of dollars a year playing esports, It's a whole new industry. It's a whole new burgeoning industry that we believe will be on par with the sports industry in time.
It's absolutely incredible. And one of the places where esports is incredibly popular is Europe. And Esports Entertainment Group recently acquired the iGaming platform Lucky Dino. And how does that acquisition figure into esports entertainment future plans?
Sure. On the surface, it doesn't look like it's completely separate and apart, because it's a casino. It's online casino games, mm-hmm. and it's a platform that we acquired. But what it does bring to us is access to. They're very strong in the Northern European region, particularly Finland and the Nordics. That's a region that we see as a very vibrant esports region, geographically speaking, high fan bases. So it gives us an entry into those markets. It also provides us with, the accretive value of that transaction. It brings us lots of revenue, EBITDA, cash flow positive, and it helps us play the long game in esports, because esports is a young industry, and as with all industries, when they first start out, there's, as you're developing your fan base and your players and, your footprint, there's a lot of expense involved with doing that. It's no exception in esports. And of course, in order for us to be able to play the long game and be here to lead the way in esports, which we definitely are doing, we have to, continually pay attention to the fact that we're in business to make money. Mm-hmm. And the Lucky Dino brings a platform. We own the technology, which is a big priority for us, gives us access to a new market. And we learned during COVID that there is cross-marketing opportunities. Esports fans do play certain casino games, mostly poker, things that have a mathematical equation where skill is a component. And we also learned that sports fans and casino fans will play and bet on certain esports titles. So there is a cross-marketing opportunity there, and that's what really drove that decision.
Now, being an incredible Philadelphia sports fan like I am, I love the fact that you did a deal with one of my favorite football teams, the Philadelphia Eagles, and recently also the New England Patriots, and also the Baltimore Ravens. Yep. When we say Esports Entertainment Group did a deal with a pro team, what does that mean? I mean, for people out there who are fans of the football team and who are fans of esports, what does that mean for them when you do a deal with a pro team?
Sure. Well, this really came down to, and the Eagles, they were the first NFL team we signed with, and they've just been an absolute pleasure to work with their organization. A founding member of the NFL, well respected throughout the league, and so it's been a pleasure. I just want to make sure that I give that shout out to the Eagles.
Yes, fly Eagles, fly.
And hey, a 20-year waiting list to get season tickets.
Absolutely.
That says a lot about the loyalty of the fan base. Having said that, what these tournaments are, again, esports is entertainment. Football is entertainment. So the football teams, and really these conversations were getting there anyhow, but it got accelerated with COVID. The teams couldn't have fans in the stands. And of course, the business is all about the fans. So what all the teams want to do is create additional fan engagement, something for the fans to do. Right now, obviously, they're not in the stands, or very few of them can be in the stands. But they still follow the team on TV, etc. So they wanted the teams. What we're doing with the teams is running exclusive tournaments for the fans to play in tournaments against each other for prizes of the team. Whether these prizes are season tickets, is a very coveted prize, as you can imagine, with Eagles fans, or if it's a dinner with one of the pros, or playing video games with the pros, signed jerseys, helmets. So it's all about getting something that's specific to that sports franchise. So the fans are playing on sponsored tournaments. The ambassadors, quote unquote, of the event are the players. So the pro players are engaged in the tournaments in that they're either color commentators, or they'll play against the fans. they promote the tournaments. So it's about that part of engagement. Keep in mind that also the esports is not seasonal, so it allows the teams to keep in contact with their fans and give the fans that engagement in the off season as well as during the season. In the case of the NFL teams, all of whom have been a pleasure to deal with. Actually, all the teams, all the pro teams have been an absolute pleasure to deal with. They all want to have the event culminate around a physical event, whether it's around the Super Bowl or the draft, something of that nature, where they've got a higher profile, but because it ties the fans back into that event. So it was just giving more for the fans. Also, esports fans have a tendency of being younger. I suspect you don't find too many esports fans in the 16 over crowd. The primary demographic is 18, 35, and that's a coveted demographic for the sports teams. So they want to, it's about the fans. They want to offer something the fans want. They want esports. You look at Patriot Place, there's an esports center in Patriot Place. It's a Healy Center, which is a company where we've signed a contract to acquire. So we envision a time in the not distant future where there's an esports lounge or gaming center in every pro stadium. That's our plan.
Now, we've only mentioned NFL teams, but you have deals with other professional teams. What are the other professional teams that Esports Entertainment Group has done deals with?
Yep, we've got a deal with the LA Kings, the LA Galaxy, which is in the Major League Soccer, the LA Kings, of course, NHL, and the Philly Union in Philadelphia, again, another Major League Soccer franchise. We are in discussions with multiple other teams in those leagues, as well as teams in the NBA we're in discussions with. It's a topic I can assure you at every sports team in every league, across the nation, across North America. And in fact, we have Arsenal in the UK, who is one of our teams that have been running on our platform for years, in fact.
Now, when it comes to these sports teams, how important was the acquisition, the Esports Gaming League for Esports Entertainment Group? I mean, how does the EGL fit into your business plan for the future?
Well, that, in fact, is the platform we're using for this particular discussion with the running the tournaments for the pro teams. I met that group 3 years ago at Gamescom in Germany. And we started those discussions. As you know, in business, some things take a little time to evolve. After the uplisting last year, we sat down and we looked at what it was going to cost to build a platform and what would it cost to buy a platform. EGL had a good track record. They've been around for 10 years. They've done tournaments with Arsenal. They've done Red Bull tournaments. They've done tournaments for the Cricket League. So they had good pedigree. Mm-hmm. They were generating $1 million a year in revenue, and it made sense to us in terms of timing to see if we could structure a deal with them. We did. So we acquired that platform and their whole team, Glenn Elliott and all his people, and that gave us the ability to move more quickly. And with that acquisition, as you've seen in the news, the Ravens, the Eagles, the Kings, the Patriots, Philly Union, Galaxy, and as I mentioned, there's many more in discussion. So it was clearly the right move for us. It was the right move for our shareholder, and I would say the teams that have been reaching out to us, and I would also like that we haven't had time to make an outgoing phone call to tell these teams what we're doing, because they see what we're doing. They all talk amongst themselves, and every day there's a new email that comes in. We'd like to discuss how we can work with you to do platforms for our fans.
One of the great things that you're doing at Esports Entertainment Group are your plans to bring the world of esports and sports betting together. I mean, your company has two brands, Sport Nation and Vi, which you propose to do some very innovative things in the world of esports and sports betting. Tell me about those platforms and what are your plans for them?
Sure. Well, we have multiple, there's various different levels of licenses. All the licenses in the United States are Tier 1 licenses. The licenses that we have are Tier 1 licenses. We have one in Ireland, we have one in the UK, we have one in Malta, and we're launching, in Jersey this spring. Mm-hmm. So why that's relevant for the fans, it really comes down to security and oversight for the fans, because a Tier 1 license means that the Gaming Commission has 24/7 access to see what you're doing, what types of transactions, fairness, and know your client, and anti-money laundering. All these are elements. They're very difficult to get. Obviously, there's other operators that have them, but I would recommend anybody who's considering placing a bet online, make sure they're dealing with a credible operator who does have a Tier 1 license. That said, we see a huge cross-marketing opportunity, sports fans and eSports fans. And we saw this, as I mentioned, when COVID shut down pro teams, the sports fans bet on virtual sports. That's when we learned that in the spring. In fact, we had 55% of our handle was coming from the virtual titles. Wow. NBA 2K, FIFA. We had one day where $35,000 was bet on virtual volleyball.
Wow, okay.
So these, we learn, things every day as well. And we when we get this information, the fans really drive it. What do the customers want? What do the fans want? And the key is, putting a betting gaming, a safe betting gaming platform in place where the fans, you have your problem gaming issues, you red flag somebody, you make sure that, they set their parameters before they start gambling so they don't chase their losses, which happens in the casino, of course. We've all heard of the stories. Somebody loses 200, they go get 200 more, then 200 more, then 200 more. Can't do that on the site. You set your parameters, how much you want to be able to deposit. If you lose it, you got to wait till the next month to reset your deposits. So, these are a lot of the issues we deal with, and we want to make sure that we never want to see a story that anybody got wiped out playing on one of our sites. Mm-hmm. That won't happen. Gaming is entertainment. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be safe. So, we make sure that that's how we treat our fans. And with esports, we also notice that fans don't bet the same as traditional sports. It's a new industry, right? And so esports fans, they're digitally savvy, have no problem doing transactions online. But when you start talking about spread and over and under and trifectas, that means nothing to an esports fan. Esports fans, they're more engaged. They bet, smaller amounts. They like in-game wagering. So the platform we're coming out deals with the type of wagering they like. Sports fans, they like to bet differently. Horse racing fans, they bet differently than fans of the NFL. So you just have to have the right product for your fan base. You have to know what your clients want and give them what they want, not what you want as an operator.
When we talk about gaming and esports, it's such a technology-driven field, and I love the way that Esports Entertainment Group is weaving together the technology and these different platforms. Especially, you mentioned before, Helix and also GenX Circuit you just acquired. Talk about those platforms and what they mean for your future plans in the market.
Well, absolutely. They're a huge component of what we're going to be doing going forward, particularly when it comes to these pro-team relationships. Helix, they're experts at building and running physical centers, esports centers. There's 5 centers, 2 of the largest in the United States, and the one at Patriot Place is the one that it's easy for us to point to when we're talking to pro teams. We don't have an artist's rendering of what it could look like. We said there's a center. Mm-hmm. We know what we're experts. So that was a big piece for us. GenX Circuit, it's the underlying enterprise software that runs the majority of physical LAN centers, esports, gaming centers. Over 1,000 physical centers use their software. 2 million people use their software. So for us, owning the technology that runs the industry was a key component of what we're doing. And, to come back full circle around to the pro teams again, when we envision these relationships with the pro teams, We start with the tournament play, give the fans what they want, and then we move towards discussions on building these physical centers in these sports arenas and at these football fields, etc. We see that, and then that was the driving factor behind why we made that acquisition. To your point, yeah, technology drives all of it. If you don't own the technology, then you're renting it from somebody else, which means somebody else has control. That doesn't make me feel comfortable as a CEO. We feel it's important to control our technology. So that's what drove that decision.
Now, one of the things I'm really excited about coming from eSports Entertainment Group is happening in my home state of New Jersey, and you mentioned it. You have a sports betting license for New Jersey. What are your plans for New Jersey when eSports and sports betting finally get together in the Garden State?
Yeah, well, Jersey has been on the front edge of the entire online movement. They were the state that challenged the Supreme Court and got the sports betting approved, overturned. So that was, they're very innovative. The university is there. There's going to be a new innovation center. We have a relationship with Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment, which is the Devils and the Sixers. They're the largest sports organization in the region. We sponsor Dignitas, which is the largest esports team in that area. We have a Helix Center in North Bergen. So we've already invested millions into the state, and we'll be investing millions more as we move forward. It's obviously being on the front end, New Jersey has had to work through all the regulatory issues. But what that does for us is if, there's an old saying, if you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. that stands true for the state of New Jersey because they have very strict gaming regulatory guidelines. So once our approval is, through and we're up and operational, we expect to be operational next month.
Wow.
Once that's done, it'll make it easier for us to go to the other states. New Jersey and Nevada are the front runners, and they're the two states that all the other states look to for their regulatory guidelines. And, having Philadelphia and New York City right across the river, New Jersey does enjoy a unique geographical situation where they have, the state has access to tens of millions of additional fans and potential wagers that are merely, a train stop away. Mm-hmm. So it was just because of our relationships and its location geographically and the Gaming Commission's progressive attitude, it was we'll call it the proverbial no-brainer for us as the first state that we were going to set our flag down in for our North American efforts.
Now, with being first comes certain challenges in the marketplace. What do you think your challenges will be having an esports sportsbook, and what makes you confident that this will be successful in the market?
There's another old saying, on the bleeding edge of something, as opposed to the leading edge. You have to learn a lot of lessons when you're out front because there's no blueprint to run off of. Mm-hmm. And we've learned a lot of those lessons. The company did launch its first site in 2016. And we learned what sports fans like, what they don't like, esports fans. We invested millions in a platform that just did not work for the esports wagering. So we've learned a lot of those lessons already. In the state of New Jersey, being the first licensed esports wagering site, no doubt we're going to learn some additional things, but we're taking those lessons we've learned as we go into the state and launch. Marketing, our spend marketing can be a bit of a black hole if you're not careful. And this is why we're trying to mitigate our exposure by partnering with the organizations that have the fan base in the state. Dignitas has, millions of fans. They're the largest sports organization. Harris Blitzer is the largest, Dignitas is the largest esports. Harris Blitzer is the largest sports organization. Philadelphia Eagles and Philly Union have huge fan footprints in South Jersey. And of course, with Helix already having a large, successful, profitable, physical esports location in North Jersey, we've taken some of that risk off the table by those partnerships and those acquisitions. So, we're going to learn some other lessons once we launch. I'm not going to pretend that we don't anticipate that. but we're doing what we can in advance of that launch to minimize, our mistakes, we'll say.
Well, one thing we do know from the years of sports betting in Nevada is that people will bet on football, they'll bet on basketball, and other traditional sports. Do you feel that esports has an audience that will bet on esports, and do you think that will draw in more fans to the esports when you allowed to place a bet on it?
Well, yes, is the short answer to that. The greater explanation is we're already seeing in Europe esports betting is on the rise. It's still early days. We know that esports fans like authenticity. They want, when they go to an esports site, they don't want to go to a sports site that has esports as a line extension. The site, they want esports content. They want to watch esports events. So that's why Vi and Sport Nation are separate. When you go to Vi, it's all esports. Esports fans don't bet $1,000 on an event, but they may bet 15 times over the course of an event. Who's going to get the next kill? Who's going to win the match? Who's going to get the most kills? Things like that, $1, $2, $5 bets. So that's the way our esports site is structured. And I would say when it comes to will it increase the viewership, I'll draw a comparison from the sports industry. When sports really exploded was when the gaming, the betting at sportsbooks came into it. And I would say it's not that people are betting on the game because they're watching. It increases the engagement. They're watching because they're betting. And the same will hold true, we believe, wholeheartedly with esports. It'll increase their involvement, the connection to the game, their interest in the event. And I'm not saying they got to bet the house. That'd be a ridiculous situation. But just small bets, as I mentioned, $1, $2, $5, maybe $20 bets to make the event more interesting, get the fan more engaged. You yourself, if you've ever bet on a sporting event, I am certain you were more passionately engaged in that particular contest than you would have been if you don't have a bet on the game. Same for esports.
Now, eSports Entertainment Group has already been very busy this year, but give us a look into the future. What should we expect in the coming year from eSports Entertainment Group?
I would say certainly more partnerships with pro teams, and taking that forward, more esports centers in pro stadiums. That's absolutely going to happen. In addition to that, we will be looking to get additional licenses in the United States and in Canada, because it's starting to open up as well. Mm-hmm. North America is a big part of our push because it's all virgin territory for esports wagering. And so we plan to be out front of that. And you will also see additional acquisitions. When we have acquisitions that are accretive to our shareholders, we're very interested in them. If they bring us additional licenses, fan bases, technology. So we look at esports as well as traditional betting acquisitions. So you will see more of both of those as we go forward.
Grant, we're running out of time, but do you have a website or a social media address so people can keep up to date of the incredible things eSports Entertainment Group is doing?
Our primary corporate site is esportsentertainmentgroup.com. The ViGG site will be up for your Jersey fans and listeners very shortly, as I mentioned, April. We do, whether it's Vi or eSports or EEG, it does have social media, Twitter account, and you can follow me on LinkedIn. I have 8,000 followers on LinkedIn that I make sure that gets all the latest news. But for people who might be interested in looking at it as a possible investment, because we are listed on the NASDAQ under the symbol GMBL for gamble.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I didn't even pick that up.
Follow all the latest news on eSports Entertainment Group.
Grant Johnson, CEO and President of eSports Entertainment Group, thanks so much for coming on and telling us what your incredible company is doing in the world of eSports. What eSports Entertainment Group is doing is changing the market. So please come back on and update us on what your great company is doing.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thanks for having me.
Stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready, and health insurance is your financial safety net. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, give us a call at 800-231-9279. That's 800-231-9279. 800-231-9279.
With some of the best promotions and offers in the sports betting market, PointsBet simply stands out. PointsBet is the only U.S. online bookmaker to offer points betting, where every yard, every point, every goal, even every play matters. Same-game parlays, good karma payouts, early payouts, and exclusive game day promotions and guarantees for all sports. PointsBet offers more bet types than any other bookmaker in the world, offering a unique set of markets that aren't available anywhere else. And now PointsBet is offering one of the best sign-up offers in the sports betting market today. New customers signing up with code BET21 receive 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. Get up to $500 back if your first fixed odds bet loses, and up to $1,500 if your first points betting bet loses. That's code BET21 for 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000 at PointsBet. PointsBet, it pays to be fast. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And By the Numbers is sponsored by Play Sugar House Online Casino and Sportsbook in New Jersey. Sign up at playsugarhouse.com/Pike and get a first deposit match of up to $250. Enjoy the casino experience online. Play Sugar House offers over 400 games online, slots, table games, hey, even bingo. It's like being in a casino without leaving your home.
All right, here we are in the By the Numbers segment where we basically I throw out a couple numbers to Dave and let him try and guess, but really the segment is where the numbers tell the story, which is where
I never get them.
Yeah.
I never get them.
So without further ado, we're going to go with $400 million to lead off.
You know, I say I don't know, but I just read this article. Is this the ESPN hockey story?
The ESPN National Hockey League deal.
Yep.
The NHL and ESPN have confirmed a 7-year U.S. broadcast deal for the league. Mm-hmm. Leverages all of Disney's linear and digital assets.
So are we talking about this will be ESPN, right? I mean, this isn't going to be Disney Plus.
It's everything.
Oh, really? Okay. I don't have Disney Plus.
Here, I'll give you a quick rundown. 25 regular season games to air on ESPN and ABC.
All right.
Disney's linear networks, ESPN and ABC, will also broadcast half of the Stanley Cup playoff games.
Okay.
75 exclusive regular season games will stream on ESPN Plus and Hulu.
Okay.
ESPN Plus will also be made available within Hulu's video-on-demand service. So they're moving ESPN Plus into Hulu a little bit.
See, now I have to think about getting ESPN Plus and Hulu. So,
if you get ESPN Plus, you don't need Hulu.
Well, yeah, I guess
if you have Hulu, you're getting ESPN Plus, basically, for NHL.
So the smart move, if you want this, get ESPN Plus.
Which is why they're doing
this. Which will bring in Hulu.
Yes.
Oh, okay. All right.
And also, that NHL, the out-of-market streaming packages they offer on the cable system.
Sure.
All that's being moved off of NHL.TV, and it's being moved to ESPN Plus, the app.
Okay.
So a $400 million deal for ESPN and the NHL for the broadcasting rights for 7 years of NHL.
ESPN Plus has a lot of great stuff on it. I mean, I've been looking at it, and it's MMA. They're really big in MMA, which I love. It's
I think that app.
I think I'm going to pull the trigger on that one. I'm going to get ESPN Plus.
The ESPN Plus app may have really saved the UFC because they have found a huge audience through that app. It's
just great. I love the way they do it. I love the way they handle it. It's Great to see.
Next number, 2.
I don't know what the hell.
We went from 400 million down to 2.
With 400 million to 2. No, I have no idea what 2 is.
It will be the number of new teams added to the European League of Football.
Now, when you say European League of Football,
American football.
American-style football.
Yes.
The European League of Football. Okay.
These are actually 2 former NFL Europe teams that are being added to the roster of the European League of Football.
That was big on TV years ago. I mean, I remember, what was it? The London something or other, the London Dragons or something, or the Barcelona Dragons.
Dragons, the London Monarchs.
Is that what you're talking about, or it's not? It's not that, right?
The Frankfurt Galaxy.
I remember that name.
Is one of the teams. I don't remember this team. Hamburg Sea Devils.
No, I have no idea.
It must have been one of the last teams of the league before it folded.
So wait, what are they saying? I mean, are the London Monarchs still around? Are the Barcelona Dragons still around?
This is the European League of Football. It's a here. These are the teams right now.
Is this basically a developmental league kind of thing for
it can
NFL?
Be. Okay. They're actually hoping it stays separate though.
Okay.
The Wroclaw Panthers, the Barcelona Gladiators, the Stuttgart Scorpions, the German Knights, and the Ingolstadt Praetorians will be joined by the Hamburg Sea Devils and the Frankfurt Galaxy when the league launches, which will be launching soon. It'll be in June. We'll be launching in June. So we have another football league to watch.
I want to check them out. I want to see what kind of merchandise they have. I want to see what their shirts look like.
I want to see the Praetorians.
Maybe I'll get a hat.
I want to see the Praetorians. Like I don't know what the hell symbol they're going to have for a Praetorian, but it'll be interesting to see. I guess they're going to be really interesting. Gladiators, you know what that's probably going to be, just looking like a Roman gladiator head on it. But I'm just curious. I just like the idea of another football league.
I was going to search them, and I just noticed the European League of Football. Elf. Elf. Okay, Elf. All right, I'll search Elf. Elf football.
Well, that's what we have for that. 2 new teams. 5.94 million is the next number. Back up into the millions.
Is it a salary of some kind? 5.94 million?
No, it's the number of viewers that the All-Star game, the NBA All-Star game, registered.
I did not watch a single minute of that.
Well, you were with a lot of people
I did
because
not watch a single minute.
The 5.94 million viewers was the least watched All-Star game dating back to 1990. It was also the lowest rated All-Star game over the last 31 years.
It just losing something for me. I mean, I every year I used to look forward to the NBA All-Star Game because you had everything surrounding it. You had the slam dunk contest.
Well, they had all that
3-point contest.
They had all that. They had that and the skills competition, all that.
The best dunk contest I ever saw was Spud Webb. What was it? Fantastic.
Well, that's the problem. The dunk contest now doesn't really. It's not exciting anymore.
Yeah, well, yeah.
It's all been done before.
Yeah, well, yeah. I guess when you have guys jumping over cars doing a dunk, I think there's nowhere else to go after that.
You jumped the shark on that one.
Yeah.
But despite it being the lowest rated over 31 years and the least watched, here, hang on, let me get this. It also ranked as the highest rated NBA broadcast of the season, which says a lot about the NBA.
Even though it was the least watched All-Star game?
Lowest rated.
Even though it was the lowest rated All-Star game in
31
years, it was the highest rated basketball game of the season?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
It's just telling you how bad the NBA TV-wise is doing, because there's so many other avenues of watching it now. You have the betcasts.
Yeah.
You have the digital streams. And also, if you don't really want to watch the games, you got the highlights that come right after the game, too.
I mean, there has to be a new way to measure viewership in this, modern age. I mean, I don't know how much they look into streaming and how that figures in, and when they compare it to TV viewing, I mean, it's just they kind of have to, figure something out in that one now.
Well, it did have a couple of highlights. It was also the most-watched non-football sports broadcast since the 2020 World Series. Last year, basically. And also beat last month's Daytona 500, which had 4.83 million viewers, and also beat the Masters, which had 5.59 million viewers. So there are some good things, some bad things for the NBA All-Star Game.
You know, all those other things I watched. I didn't watch the NBA All-Star Game, but all those other things that you mentioned, I watched. So,
and one other
thing. And the All-Star Game beat them, right? In ratings.
The All-Star Game beat them in viewership, not ratings.
I shouldn't say that. In
viewership is different than ratings.
In ratings,
yeah.
Okay.
And also, the NBA is also saying that they had the unfortunate instance of being up against the Prince Harry and Meghan Markle interview.
I did not watch that either.
17.81 million viewers watched.
I'm trying to figure out what the hell did I watch that night. I mean, I didn't watch the Meghan Markle interview. I didn't watch the NBA All-Star game. What the hell was I watching?
See, I don't watch any All-Star game. I just don't find them interesting. I mean, like you said, I watched the Home Run Derby for baseball.
When I was younger, I used to watch All-Star games. I mean,
even when I was younger, I never watched them. And I was a basketball freak back then.
For some reason, I used to love the NFL Pro Bowl because, that was after the Super Bowl, and some of the guys I saw in the Super Bowl were playing in the Pro Bowl. But nowadays, no one wants to play in the Pro Bowl, and it's also before the Super Bowl, so some of the best players that made it to the Super Bowl won't be playing in the Pro Bowl.
They got to find a way to make it actually a meaningful game again. It's not. Last number for the week, we have a bonus one.
Oh, a bonus one.
69 million.
Okay. Is this viewership or ratings?
It's a price.
Okay, never mind.
This was the $69 million was the price for a piece of artwork. It's basically a huge JPEG file that an artist created as a non-fungible token. Here we go again with blockchain.
Wow. Okay.
It's one of the largest.
69 million?
It's one of the largest pieces of blockchain out there this guy created. It was auctioned off at Christie's. And at the in the final hour, they had a flurry of 180 bids, which pushed it over to $69 million.
Let me ask you, is this a physical piece of art, or is this
digital? It's
digital. Okay, $69 million for digital.
Yeah, wow. It was a new high for a piece of artwork.
I'm surprised it wasn't bought in cryptocurrency.
Listen, well, let me get to that.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was a new high for a piece of artwork that exists only digitally, but it was the third highest price for artwork made by a living artist, according to Christie's. Third highest price for a living artist.
Okay.
Let me go through. It was set to sell for less than $30 million, but again, in the last 2 minutes of the auction, bids started coming in, so they gave it an extension, like an overtime. And that's where 33 bidders pushed it over $60 million, and they got it to $69 million final price. And it's also the highest price for a non-fungible token, so a couple new things there. And it's in the first for Christie's, the purchaser could use, I want to get this right because it's a different type of blockchain, Ethereum, to purchase the artwork. I can't say it's a painting. First time that this has ever happened for a digital payment for the 255-year-old auction house.
Wow.
First time in their history, not only do they have the highest digital price for a digital artwork, they've also allowed somebody to pay digitally for that artwork.
Unbelievable.
So just a little extra bonus one. We've been dealing with blockchain an awful lot, especially with that NBA Top Shot, so I thought I'd throw in.
Hearing a lot about that too.
Yeah, it's going crazy. It's the value of NBA Top Shot's going through the roof again. So that's it for the Turnpike Sports By the Number segment this week.
Book reports coming up next, so stick around. We'll be right back with more Turnpike Sports. The weather is turning colder, but the action is just starting to heat up on the tables at Party Poker in New Jersey. Sign up with code EXIT7A and take advantage of Party Poker's new sign-up offer of $25 free, plus a first deposit match up to $600, and start playing poker online today. Daily tournaments, cash games, sit-and-goes. The Party Poker U.S. network offers players an opportunity to participate in their favorite poker tournaments online every day, all day. And don't forget about their Sunday tournament featuring $35,000 in guaranteed prize money. So head on over to nj.partypoker.com and sign up today with our promo code EXIT7A. New customers get $25 free when registering, plus you also get a first deposit match up to $600. That's code EXIT7A to get your $25 free when registering and your first deposit match up to $600. The cards are in the air at partypoker.com in New Jersey. Must be 21 and over and located in New Jersey. New patrons only. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Attention Medicare recipients and anyone turning 65. Medicare has approved new benefits not included with original Medicare and older Medicare Advantage plans. You may not be getting all of the benefits you're entitled to, including in-home aids, telephone appointments with your doctors, home-delivered meals and prescriptions. These benefits may be available and it's a free call to enroll. The new plans may also offer free eyeglasses, free hearing aids, free wellness visits, and gym memberships. Call the Medicare benefits line now. It's easy. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. Find out if you're eligible for new benefits like meal and prescription delivery, in-home aids, and telemedicine. Some plans may have a $0 monthly premium or zero copays for big out-of-pocket savings. Not all Medicare Advantage plans are alike. The new plans have more benefits for many people. Call 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797. 800-217-1797.
Tax Solutions Now is a complimentary referral service that connects callers to companies that provide tax services.
Money matters. If you owe thousands in back taxes to the IRS, how much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I paid less than I owe.
That's right, money matters. So call Tax Solutions Now and get the IRS off your back. Since 2014, Tax Solutions Now has been a leader in the tax resolution industries. Remove wage garnishments, property liens, fines, and penalties. Qualify for the Fresh Start program or even uncollectible status. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you?
I owed the IRS over $10,000. I paid a fraction of what I owed.
Call now to reduce or even eliminate your back taxes.
I called Tax Solutions Now and got the IRS off my back. Thanks. You saved us a ton of money.
Money matters. How much can Tax Solutions Now save you? Call now and find out.
Call 800-683-7377. 800-683-7377. 800-683-7377.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report.
The Turnpike Sports Book Report is brought to you by BorgataSports.com. Your favorite casinos now, your favorite sports book available anywhere in New Jersey, BorgataSports.com. Sign up at BorgataSports.com using our promo code PIKE, that's P-I-K-E, and you get a risk-free bet up to $300 and 20 bonus dollars at BorgataCasino.com. Must be 21 years or older and in New Jersey to place a bet. Terms and conditions apply. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
And here we are, another edition of the Book Report. We're going to be talking a lot of national numbers, state numbers, national record, as a matter of fact, as well as some state records, some deals and launches, some legislation like we always do. Whatever we don't hit in this segment, go on over to the Turnpike Sports Radio blog, turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the blog button. You'll see these stories and other ones that we didn't hit in print form on the blog.
You know, nationally, it's been a great 6 months. I think there's been a record set every month for the last 6 months.
There's been incredible. a national handle record for 6 straight months, January included, which brought in a handle of $4.362 billion.
Billion with a B.
Billion with a B.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing. I didn't think it would grow this quickly to the point where we're talking $4 billion almost every month here.
Yeah, no, it's been incredible. And who's the number one state that came out on top of handle?
Well,
say it.
New Jersey is number one again.
Yay.
For 2 of the 3 categories.
Okay, 2. I knew handle. But,
handle and revenue, New Jersey.
Handle and revenue, okay.
They did not lead in taxes.
Huh, okay.
I was actually kind of surprised, but then I thought about it. Pennsylvania does have a high tax rate.
Okay. All right.
So it makes sense that Pennsylvania was number one in national rank for January tax revenue.
So when it comes to handle, I'm sure Pennsylvania is up there as well, right? Didn't they come in certainly top 5, right?
Here's the top 5 for national handle. Jersey with $958 million, a little bit more than that.
That's number 1.
Nevada with $646 and $647 million. That's number 2. Pennsylvania is there at 3 with $615 million.
Okay.
And then Illinois rounds out the top 4 with $581.5 million.
Great.
Number 5 really is Indiana. Let me just throw that out there, too, for sports betting handle. Revenue-wise...
I'm shocked that Colorado isn't in the top 5.
Colorado is number 6.
Okay, well, they're right there.
There's
only broken the top 5 yet.
There's only about 16 million separating Indiana and Colorado.
Okay.
In January. Revenue-wise, it's Jersey with $82.6 million. Nevada is number 2 again, $52.38. Then you have Illinois for $47.95 million. And Pennsylvania's just under $34 million for number 4. Indiana's number 5 there as well, $29.33. Colorado's right there with them, $23.1. Actually, Tennessee is breaking into the top 10 now, too. They're number 7 in revenue and also number 7 in handle.
Very impressive. Tennessee is one of those unique states that have no retail sports book, and their entire sports betting market is online. So very interesting numbers for Tennessee.
And the brand new baby of the bunch, Virginia.
Baby of the bunch, okay.
Brand new sports betting market.
Just before the Super Bowl, right?
They ranked 15th in revenue, and they ranked 13th in handle.
Okay, and that's for January.
That's 11 days.
That's only 11 days. They were only open, or they only had sports betting for 11 days in January, and they pulled down these numbers. Pretty impressive.
That just tells me Virginia may be a major player in the market once they get everything up and running and rolling. I'm curious. February, I don't know what they're going to have. March is going to be interesting to see because that's a huge college sports betting state, Virginia.
Yeah.
More so than pro, I think.
The numbers for February should be interesting because, of course, they have the Super Bowl in February. March certainly is going to be interesting for the NCAA tournament. And, I can't wait to see these next couple of months.
Well, you mentioned February.
Okay.
Let's head on over to February.
Some February numbers out, all right.
Yes.
Okay.
And by the time this airs, there's going to be a couple more states.
Probably.
Probably New Jersey, Pennsylvania will be releasing their numbers the week after we're doing this.
So normally, we're second week of March, that's when they'll release the February numbers. Is it always the second week of the next month? Is that when they release the numbers from
certain
the prior
states,
month?
Certain states.
All right.
I mean,
as a rule of thumb, I guess, the majority of states.
You have about half the states releasing them the second week, the other half releasing them the third week, and then you have Illinois 2 months later.
Whatever
by the way,
they want.
Before we do get to the February numbers, Illinois did release their January numbers. They were part of this national handle record in January. They had a state record handle of 581.5 million. I keep on saying 58. It's $581.5 million for a state handle in January. Record revenue of $47.95 million. State taxes was $7.19 million. Statewide hold rate of 8.25%. Top sports: basketball, $229.68 million. Football was second with 158. Parlays 109. And this I found interesting, and I got to give a hat tip to Chris Altruda over at US Bets.
Okay.
He did a little deeper dig on the parlays. The average retail parlay wager, $54.11. The average online parlay wager was $16.20.
Okay. By the way, we're going to have Chris Altruda on in a couple of weeks.
Yeah.
I say a couple of weeks because I don't know if it's next week or the week after.
But I just found that differentiation between the retail and online parlays interesting because it's a higher retail amount average.
Sure.
And rounding.
What's that saying? Parlays don't build bankrolls; they build sports books,
especially online sports books.
Absolutely.
So, rounding out the top 4 in terms of sports, soccer was third with $30 million, and hockey was $17.69 million. They were fourth place as top sports. No table tennis. Thank God. I'm tired of hearing about table tennis, but that's huge in certain states.
That's Colorado's thing.
Yeah. February numbers. I'm sorry. We just finished Illinois' January numbers. That always screws me up, too, talking like that. But Indiana had a handle of $273.9 million for February. That's up 46% from the previous month of January. So they had a huge growth spurt there in their handle. Revenue was $17 million, up 53% from January, and a win rate of 6.19%. Ameristar Casino was the leading sportsbook operator right now, $114.95 million in handle. So they had a good chunk of the handle, about almost half of that. Top sport was basketball again.
NBA?
College and NBA.
Oh, they just bunched basketball.
It's just basketball.
One category, okay.
And also it could be overseas basketball, too.
Oh, true.
Parlays were second there in that state, $66.4 million. The other category was third with $60 million. That's all the other sports like hockey, soccer, the lump sports.
Okay.
I don't know how else to phrase that.
You know, hockey is considered an other sport?
In certain states.
Okay.
In certain states. Iowa, February numbers, they didn't set any records in terms of the overall month, but they did set a per-day sports betting record because of the short month.
Oh, sure, I guess so, yeah.
They had about 2 or 3 days. Yeah, they had 2 or 3 less days to record numbers, so they set a per-day record. They also had their highest amount wagered in the state on a single event in their sports betting history. That was the Super Bowl.
Of course.
$16.2 million wagered on the Super Bowl alone. Let's see. Iowa is now the 7th state to reach $1 billion in total handle in the post-PASPA era.
Oh,
they joined Nevada, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Indiana, Colorado, and Illinois as a billion-dollar party maker there. Michigan released their retail sports betting. By the time this airs, they'll probably have their online sports betting numbers out. They did them separately. Retail sports betting generated a total loss of $77,627.
So this is retail, though.
This is just retail.
As you said, they haven't released their online numbers.
They will, but not. They're doing them separately.
And I'm sure that's going to boost them to a profit.
Yeah.
So.
MGM recorded an $8,700 loss. Motor City posted a loss of $183,000. $4,300 in taxes to the state on sports betting revenues from retail. Mm-hmm. So the state made out good.
And that's just retail.
That's just retail. A couple of launches to hit real quick. We have in Indiana and Virginia, WinBet is going to be launching. They got their license.
Yeah, I recently saw a commercial for them here in Jersey.
Yeah.
So I haven't checked out WinBet yet.
Colorado, PlayUp Sportsbook is now live and running.
I saw that.
Twin Spires in Michigan launched. William Hill launched in Tennessee. And Barstool Sportsbook launched in Illinois. So we had a whole bunch of launches going on there in the last couple of weeks. Moving over to legislation, I just wanted to hit one other launch that was announced. Circa Sports will be launching a sports book at the Tuscany Casino in Vegas. And the only reason I'm mentioning the book itself is because it's the first Circa sports book outside of a Derek Stevens owned property. So they've expanded their footprint a little bit. Legislation, just really 2 things I want to hit. And really briefly, too. Maryland, they introduced legislation that's going to be increasing the number of sports betting sites/operators to 37.
37?
They're going to be giving out 37 sports betting licenses.
Wow.
That may or may not happen.
Yeah, I know. That's they're probably not going to have 37 sports books or online sports books, right?
They're making 37 sports betting licenses available, 22 in person or retail, however you want to phrase it, and 15 online mobile betting options licenses. And that was seen as creating an additional market not only for the major players but also for the local people. And also minority and women-owned businesses. They made sure that was mentioned somewhere in the bill.
Great, good for them.
So they're doing that. I got a whole different class structure for everything here. The other, Texas has been in the news a lot, so we'll be talking about that with Altruda and a whole bunch of other people going forward with that. But Wyoming is interesting. Wyoming had a bill in the House for online sports betting. They rejected it, and then the following day they accepted it. They reversed course.
Okay.
They had another vote and accepted it.
Would they have a night to sleep on it?
I have no idea what happened there, but I guess there were there were certain things that they had to take out.
Or maybe they talked to a few people.
the age of sports betting. It's 21 in a lot of places. This will be 18 years old.
Okay, and this is Wyoming, right?
This is Wyoming. 10% tax on revenue. And the interesting things about these, you'll be able to make a bet using cryptocurrency.
Interesting. Is that one of the first pieces of legislation in this country?
Yes.
For that? Okay.
And you can also place bets using traveler's checks, foreign currencies, cashier's check, money orders, personal checks, credit debit cards, prepaid vouchers, and gift cards. So any way you want to bet.
Wow, they're really diving into this, huh?
They want
Good
it.
for them.
They want it. So, but like I said, they rejected it, then they accepted it the following day. So I don't know what changed. Maybe certain things were added or
they
detracted.
slept on it. They thought about it. A good night's sleep is important when you're making decisions like this.
Yeah. Let's head on over to some of the deals that happened. We have Bally's making moves again. They are now a authorized sports betting operator of the National Basketball Association. That's their second pro sport league that they made a deal with. They did do a deal with Major League Baseball, I believe. So that is their second major sports league that they've done a deal with, especially with their regional sports networks. This stuff comes in handy.
Sure.
And when that launches, they'll be rebranded Bally Sports. William Hill, the acquisition by Caesars should happen sometime early April, they said. So we're going to be seeing Caesars operating.
That's a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
William Hill is now going to be a complete Caesars operation now in the United States. They took over, they bought the United States section, not the UK part. UFC is now the official betting partner in Latin America of Stake.com. Or Stake.com is the official betting partner of the UFC in Latin America.
Okay.
It's a cryptocurrency sportsbook.
More cryptocurrency. Okay.
It's huge outside the United States.
I guess so.
It's huge. And they're going to be doing, promotion, special content, special boosters for different fights. And also a couple of the athletes are going to be becoming brand ambassadors for Stake.com.
Makes sense.
FanDuel joined the responsible gaming program with American Gaming Association, the Have a Game Plan, Bet Responsibly campaign. They're the first sports book to join it. And I know we got the Better Safe program going on with Conscious Gaming, so everything kind of goes hand in hand, especially with March being Responsible Gambling Awareness Month.
Yep.
The big deal to talk about, and it actually is part of a deal that happened last year when BetMGM did the deal with Buffalo Wild Wings.
I can't wait to try this. I was not only do I have a BetMGM app on my phone, I also have a Buffalo Wild Wings app on my phone. So I don't know if those things are going to work together or how that's going to work, or I'm very interested to see that. But go ahead, talk about the deal, because I'm excited about this.
Well, people who go to Buffalo Wild Wings bars, restaurants, sports bars, whatever you want to call them, if you have a BetMGM app, you will be getting special content, special deals, special promos, special profit boosters that are associated with Buffalo Wild Wings through the BetMGM app. They're going to be called Blazin' Bets.
Yeah, they're doing amazing things with geolocation now.
And that's the main part.
You walk into a Buffalo Wild Wings, and all of a sudden, it really is a smartphone because it knows where you are.
Well, if the geolocation technology hadn't improved to the point where it is, where it can pinpoint you, I don't think something like this would happen.
Yeah, no, it just come a long way. I mean, I remember when online casinos started in New Jersey. I could play casinos in one room of my house, but not the other room of my house. It was just ridiculous. And now, my God, it can probably pinpoint where you're sitting in a restaurant.
The one thing I'm curious, will a BetMGM customer that has it on their phone, if they're logged in, I guess, would they receive a notification that they've entered a Buffalo Wild Wings as soon as they walk through that door?
So how many states is this available, all these special things?
Only where it's legal: Colorado, New Jersey, Indiana, Iowa, Tennessee, West Virginia.
Great.
Also, Buffalo Wild Wings has launched the OT Odds powered by BetMGM channel. It's an in-bar network.
Oh, okay. So they're going to have, I guess, programming playing.
Sports betting content
playing in the actual restaurant.
Where it's legal.
Where one of those massive TVs.
Yeah, only where it's legal. If you're not in a legal state, you're not going to see this.
Yes.
They're going to have fantasy and sports betting advice content all day on those channels. They also revamped their picks and props free-to-play game.
Great.
They made it more along the lines of the BetMGM Sportsbook. It looks almost like a BetMGM Sportsbook when you play it.
Now, will these free-to-play games be available in non-legal sports betting areas? Okay, so good. Now, so everyone can kind of join in the front.
The free-to-play game will be through the Buffalo Wild Wings app.
Okay, all right, great.
So anyone who goes into Buffalo Wild Wings, even if it's a non-legal sports betting state, you can play the free-to-play game, because now the free-to-play, because of BetMGM elements, you can do a parlay in it.
Okay, and like people can win
prizes.
No
That's
money,
all. No.
just prizes.
And depending on how much you win through the free-to-play game, you can actually make it into the Buffalo Wild Wings Hall of Fame that was specially created for the free-to-play game.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, so enjoy your wings, enjoy your sports betting, enjoy your fantasy sports now with Buffalo
fun.
Wild Wings and BetMGM. And ESPN's expanding their sports betting program by adding a daily wager podcast.
Great.
So that's what we got. We didn't hit a couple of things, but again, like I said, if you go to turnpikesportsradio.com, click on the blog button, you will have all the stories that we did hit and that we didn't hit in print form. That's it.
That'll do it for us this week. We'll see you next time on the Turnpike.